All right, welcome back, everybody. Intercontinental Sports TV. Of course, as we were talking about, Football 101. As you can see on the board, I've got two different colors here. Now, if you look over here, you see this K here. That stands for, I put that's the kicker. So this is the beginning of the game, okay? They've already had the coin flip. The coin flip determines who gets the ball first. The visiting team usually has the right to choose whether they want to call heads or tails. Ref tosses the coin, and then we figure out. So, look, team's kicking off, and you see these other little bubbles here, KT. I just wrote that. That's going to stand for kickoff team. So, down here, you see this R right here in the middle. That's the returner, and there's usually, on a kickoff, there's going to be two returners down here. Usually one on the left and one on the right, but I just put one here just for this demonstration we're doing. And then you see these RTs right here. This is the return team. So if you look, this may not be exactly accurate, but you're going to get the point. So the kickoff team, they're gonna take the ball. There's going to be a little T they put here. The kicker, he's going to kick off the ball to start the game. So let's just say he kicks the ball. We're just gonna little football. I know it doesn't really look like a football, but you get the point. So they're gonna kick that off. Now, the returner, if he gets the ball, he has two options. Okay, he can either take a knee and he'll down it wherever on the field it is, whatever yard line it is, or if the kicker kicks it so far and they catch it in the end zone down here, it's automatically going to be called what is called a touchback. And that means they automatically get the ball at the 25-yard line. That would be the return team. Okay, so, but let's say the kicker doesn't kick it quite that far. And let's say the returner catches it at, let's just say the 10-yard line. So they have the option to make this return. So what this returner is going to want to do is he's going to want to use his teammates. They're going to be his blockers. And the better returners in the game, they have good vision. They can see, they wait for their teammates to set them up with blocks. Now, sometimes guys are so fast and they're so, they're thinking about getting that touchdown that they don't really have the patience to wait for their teammates. But like I said, as the ball gets kicked off, they're going to return kickoff team. They're going to come down. And obviously their goal is they want to get down here to the returner and where the ball is. So, like I said, a good returner, he's going to wait for these guys. So he's going to try to run upfield. And let's say he gets the ball and he's running upfield and he manages to get by the kickoff team. So if he gets by these defenders, there's only going to be one person left who can stop this guy from scoring a touchdown, and that is the kicker. Now, unlike most sports where soccer, for example, and basketball, where guys play offense and defense and they're running back and forth, a kicker, usually literally he only has one job, and that's to kick the ball off to begin games or after touchdowns, or he's going to kick a field goal. So he may not be the most athletic guy, or he's not going to be the biggest guy on the field. So if this returner, like I said, gets by this kickoff team, and then he can slip by this kicker, he's going to go by him. Just imagine this kicker diving at this guy. This guy's so fast, kicker winds up getting a face full of dirt and grass because he's just not on the same level athletically and physically as this returner. So this returner slips by him, and he goes all the way to the house for 6 points. And we call that a TD or a touchdown. So that's how the game begins, like I said. There's different options, like I said, depending on where the ball's kicked and how, that's what we call these special teams. And they're special teams for a reason, because if you have a strong special teams unit, it can make a difference in a tight game. A game, maybe your offense just can't seem to move the ball. But if you have a good return team and you can put points on the board by just returning a kick, that could be a huge difference, in a tight game. you return that kick for a touchdown, maybe that wins it for you. I'll give you an example. During the year 2000, Baltimore Ravens, the hometown team here, they won their first Super Bowl that year. Now that year, they had a pretty bad quarterback. Now, he did okay, but he was not great by any means. They had a great defense who just wasn't letting other offenses score, but unfortunately the Ravens weren't scoring points. I think they went 6 or 7 straight games without scoring an offensive touchdown, but they did score on special teams because they had a great guy by the name of Jermaine Lewis who was a returner, went to the University of Maryland, and he was putting points on the board. They had a great kicker. His name was Matt Stover. He was kicking field goals. Field goals, of course, are worth 3 points. And those special teams and the defense, of course, helped carry the Ravens to a Super Bowl victory. So you cannot underestimate the value of a great special teams unit. Like I said, in close games, whether we're talking about the kickoff, and then also, you have the punter who is also special teams. He's usually a separate player from the kicker, but some teams, they may have a guy do both of those. Punter. So it's kind of like the same concept. So let's say you had the ball on offense. You weren't able to move the ball continually downfield. You get to 4th down because you start out at first. You got 2nd, 3rd. You made it to 4th down, but you didn't, and you didn't get to 1st down, and you weren't in scoring range. So you're like, oh shoot, well we're gonna kick the ball back to the other team because we don't want to take a chance on going for a 1st down, because if we go for it and we miss it, this team is going to get the ball where we left it, and we may give them good field position. So the punter, same thing. He kicks the ball off, and same thing with the returner. He's going to have an option to either return the ball or take a knee. So same concept, he wants to wait for his blockers and things like that to set them up. Like I said, you can't underestimate. And the punter also, he can be dangerous too, because when he's kicking the ball, sometimes these guys, they will aim for the sideline, because let's say he kicks the ball and it goes out of bounds at the 1 yard line. That means the offense is going to be pinned like all the way down here, and they're only going to have like 1 yard behind them and their opponent's end zone. So, like I said, these are just basics, but like I said, special teams, that's what starts the game. And like I said, it can make a huge difference. You can go and, there's been great returners. Guys like Devin Hester, who played for the Chicago Bears, Dante Hall, played for the Kansas City Chiefs. They call him the human joystick because of things he did on the field. We've had some great kickers. Currently the kicker for the Ravens, Justin Tucker. He's probably going down in history as the greatest field goal kicker of all time. Last year, some of y'all remember, he kicked a 66-yard field goal. That is a long, long field goal. Typically, when you start getting over 50 yards for a field goal, it becomes a lot harder. But we've had some guys that really excelled at field goals over 50 yards. You get over 55 yards, even harder. Now, you start talking about 60, the success rate for that is almost non-existent, There's only been so many field goals over 60 yards, but he kicked a 66-yarder to win the game for the Ravens at that. We've seen teams go for field goals like that to end the games because they were desperate. But I think when the Ravens did it, I actually think they really thought they had a chance, and they did. And they won a game because he kicked a 66-yard field goal. So having a great kicker and a great punter, which the Ravens have had for like the last 10 years, has been a big part of their success and why the Ravens are usually in the playoffs every year. So, like I said, that was special teams, getting the game started. So, of course, after the return or whether they take a knee, then the offense would take over with the ball and they would try to drive upfield. And then, like I said, of course, if they aren't able to get 1st downs or a touchdown, then on 4th down they would punt it. And then it keeps repeating itself and they keep going back and forth. But that's just a start to how the game would start. So I'm thinking next week when we come back, we're going to dive into, we're going to call it the opening drive. That's going to be next week's episode. We're going to call it the opening drive. We're going to just give you a basic idea of how to start a game. A lot of teams have what they call a script. They go through the week. They kind of have a game plan of what they want to do, certain plays they want to run to start the game, you know, in certain situations, whether they're in scoring range and things like that. And there's so many different circumstances, but we're just going to do what I would say would be my opening drive if I was coaching. So you can call me Coach Big Guy, I guess, you know, and when we come back next week, we're going to get ready to coach y'all up a little more. And but before we go, let me just say, if you got any questions or specifics, leave them in the comments. So the Don of Sports Entertainment, Yemi, can let me know so I can cover them specifically. If there's things you don't understand, I'll try my best to make sure I can explain them in a way that's easy for everybody to understand. But appreciate everybody watching today. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Please remember, like, subscribe, and of course watch the video. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to Laura, Anthony, Mitchell, all our fans. We appreciate y'all, and we'll definitely hope to see you next week.